Hi, I'm Sean with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and this video is on making a deep woods food plot. Now, as you can see, I'm in the bright sun right here, and back right behind me is forest, and in fact on all sides of me is pretty good section of timber. But this one spot right here gets good sunlight. Now, the reason for that is because several trees have fallen down right in this location, and that allowed for the sunlight to come through. So I went ahead and cleared those trees out of here, cleared the ground off, and I planted my food plot. Now, in order to do that, I used a little lime for the pH of the soil. I also added, I got a 50-pound bag of pellet fertilizer, brought it out here, spread 25 pounds of it on the plot initially, came back a month later, gave it another 15 pounds, and then came back a month after that and gave it the rest of the bag. Now, a couple things to keep in mind with these deep wood food plots is they need a minimum of 4 hours of sunlight a day, or they're not going to grow. Most seeds anyway. You'll have to look at what type of seed you're trying to use and how much sunlight it's going to require. So if you go into the woods and just pick your favorite tree and try to put a food plot in around it, it's possibly not going to work because you don't have enough sunlight. So that's why I chose this location, because of these trees that had fallen down. It's providing the sunlight that I needed for this food plot. Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're using these food plots is how are the deer going to use this area. Now, this particular plot is about 30 yards long and about 20 yards wide. It's not real big, but it's enough to get them to stop and nibble a little bit when they're traveling. This one is particularly placed about 500 to 600 yards away from their primary food source, which is over here in some crop fields. And the deer in this area typically like to bed behind me up in the forest, way up on the mountain. So this particular plot is good to use in the mornings because the deer are going to funnel right through here as they go to their bedding area. It's not going to be nearly as effective in the evenings because what the deer generally like to do in this area is stay high on the mountain up behind me and then come down over into the crop fields over to my left on a downward angle. Because of the way the wind typically blows in the evening, it's a better vantage point for them. So that brings me to another point. When you're utilizing one of these types of food plots and you're deciding what time of day is best for it, also, what is the prevailing wind directions that time of day? So if I put this food plot on the upwind side of the main feeding area where the deer are going to be coming from, I may never see deer here because my scent may be blowing right to the deer. So again, look at the prevailing wind directions when you're trying to find a spot like this. These can be tough to find, these deep wood food plot areas. But when you do find one and you get one set up like this, it can be very productive.